it's preseason for Marty.
Welcome to Jets Rewind. I'm Marty Schupak, and today is Sunday, August 10th. We're doing this in the afternoon. I'm joined by my two very close friends, Ralph Schrager, who's up in Belmont, Mass. He just came back from putting some flowers at the Tom Brady statue, and Ray Clifford, who's out in Marysville, Ohio. He's getting ready for the big season for the Ohio State Buckeyes with their tremendous stable of receivers. And I want to thank them both because we put this show together literally within the last, I don't know, hour and a half. So I want to thank you both. And I'll ask Ray first. How you doing, Ray, out there?
Great. And at least we're off to the right start and the weather's still good. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
and you were at the bar. Ray goes to a bar. It's in Columbus, right?
yeah, it's on the north side of Columbus
And
called
it's filled
Aka.
with hundreds and thousands of Jet fans.
Thousands. They had to put on the big screen outside so everybody could see it.
Yeah, so no, but it was a decent showing for
Yeah, for a
preseason,
preseason game, yeah, it was a good showing. It
which
was
is
only
good.
about a
And
dozen or so.
and as we
Still,
know, the way people are, they win one week, you usually get more the next week,
yeah,
which is
yeah.
really good. So, all right, Ralph, how you doing up there in Bradyville?
I'm doing great. I got a funny story to tell you. Last night I went to a party. My lovely girlfriend Julia's friends all wanted to meet me.
Oh,
And, I figure, oh, I forgot about the Jet game. I guess I won't be able to see it. And about 10 minutes into the party, Julia announces to everyone that I have a Jets podcast, at which point the host of the podcast of the party, a fellow named Ames, nice guy, he says to me, I have a great friend from Queens who's a big Jet fan, and he and his other friend from Queens just flew out to Lambeau to watch the
oh
game
my
last night.
God.
And I'm thinking, wow, that is hardcore. Does Ira even go to the
I don't know if
preseason games?
I don't know. I haven't been, actually, I don't know if he still goes. I know he goes.
Anyway, I just want to do a shout out to Sam Liss and Howie from Queens. How many Howies are in Queens, do you think, Marty?
There's a lot. There's a
Yeah.
lot of Howie.
Uh, Obviously, hardcore Jet fans, and maybe later in the year we'll connect with them.
Right. But anyway, we'll get right to the Jet game. Of course, you don't want to put a lot of stock in it, whether if they win or they lose. The Jets did win the game. They won 30-10. And as we all know, the scores mean nothing in the preseason. There were a few things that stood out. I know it stood out to me, and we'll go around. I know, Ralph, though you didn't see the game, you saw a lot of the highlights. I just want to go through quickly some of the things I made some notes of. Justin Fields played the first quarter. He was real good then. I also made a note that this fullback Beck, he had a couple of really nice plays. This defensive lineman Tufeli, he was active. He scored a touchdown, but that was thanks to Leonard Taylor, who really closed in on the Packer quarterback. I also like, and I liked him last year. I'd like to see Adrian Martinez play a level up just to see what he has, because I find that this guy, he is a very quick decision maker. He doesn't have the athletic ability of, let's say, Justin Fields, but his decision making is phenomenal, and he does have speed. The game was had a ton of stupid penalties. It was just nuts. It really was. Braden Smith made a couple of decent catches. Our guy Pritchett, the punt return, I thought he started out slow, but he was getting a little more comfortable. I thought on the first two punts, he was backing up instead of moving forward like a center field. I actually thought in my mind that the game ball, and again, put it into perspective, it's the first preseason game, but the Jets offensive coordinator, Tanner Anstron, I thought he did a great job mixing up the short and medium passes, and the offensive line blocking schemes was very good. So I hopefully, and again, we don't know. The way you judge an offensive coordinator, head coach, a lot of times is if you're down by 4 points and you have the ball at your own 25 with like 3 minutes to go. But just a shout out to our offensive coordinator. Let's see what happens after that. So with this, I'll turn it over to Ray first because he did see the game. So go ahead, Ray. Your thoughts.
Well, first I should mention that it was karaoke night at the pub, so I didn't have any volume. So a lot of times and so I was stuck with not knowing who some of the guys were because I didn't have the numbers in
Right,
front
you
of me.
don't have all the numbers memorized by now, all 98 of them? Come on.
Well, it's hard. I mean, how do you memorize numbers like Garrett Wilson,
Yeah,
who changes it, and so does
Will McDonald.
McDonald
Yeah.
changes it. Yeah. So how do you
yes.
really do
I was
that? And
watching replays trying to see like the back of the uniform to see who it
Right.
was.
All right.
But
Who's Dean Clark, 35. I got that one.
oh, that one we got.
Yeah,
And
he
by the
missed the
way,
tackle.
I just want to add, Ray. Sorry to interrupt. Let you continue. In the first quarter, Michael Clemens is in midseason form. Got a personal foul. Go ahead, Ray.
well, yeah. So without volume, I got to listen to some of the worst singing I have ever been had live going on as I'm watching the game, trying to figure out who's who. But I liked the first drive. I wish they'd have played uh, Fields a little bit more, but I think they saw what they wanted to see for the first game and just got him out of there. The the main thing I liked was they ran well, especially in the beginning. Um, but then again, we also saw a 4th and 1 where we couldn't even come close to converting. I think he lost a yard. I blame that on the line, though. They didn't look like they were in a formation that was, I don't know if they thought they were tricking them, but they didn't look like they were in a formation to get a yard on that play. But overall, I was pretty happy with everything. And the main thing you mentioned, the penalties, that was one of my favorite things was if you remember the drive, Marty, where we had, I think it was twice in 3 plays, we had a guy tackle a guy well out of bounds, 2 15-yarders within, I think it was 3 plays, maybe
Right.
4.
Exactly.
After the second one, the camera went to the sideline and Aaron Glenn was absolutely ripping the guy for that penalty. And I
Right.
loved that. I was like, if that was solid, it would have just been the stone face,
Yeah.
that, that
Yeah.
was all you got out of him when things were going wrong. I loved it. I loved that he was ripping them. I think that's what they need is a little more, if you're not going to get on them, their discipline's not going to get better. You
Right.
gotta let them have it.
And
So those things were the good things to me.
yeah, let me just interrupt. I'll get to you, Ralph, too. A couple of things because our defense coordinator Wilkes was in the face of Clemens after he had that penalty, but which is very interesting. And I didn't realize things were that bad last year. You guys probably did because you're a lot sharper than when it comes to stats. But Anthony Beck, who did a good job, the color, he put up like a shot of it, a screenshot, and it showed the Jets last year penalties per game. Had the most in the NFL, 8.1. Penalty yardage per game, the most in the NFL, 66.7. Drops for the season, the most in the NFL, 39. Missed tackles percentage, the most in the NFL, 29.2%. And what Anthony Beck was alluding to was the lack of discipline, you know, from offense to defense from A to Z. So I thought those were pretty telling statistics. And with that, I'm going to turn it to Ralph, but there was one play that went under the radar. Ray, I don't know if you saw it, but Justin Fields made a beautiful, I guess it was a 24-yard run for a touchdown, I believe. And if you saw in the right corner, Isaiah Davis had a great decoy where
Oh, yeah.
he was going deep. And a lot of times these guys will look back and they'll see a guy running, they'll go back and try to block. But this guy used some great football IQ we never see where he just was stretching it out, looking in the corner, reaches his hands out like the ball's coming down. And of course, right behind him was Justin Fields running. That was a fabulous play. Did you see that, Ray?
Oh yeah, and it was a perfect because when he saw him take off running, like you say, he didn't look to block. He also just turned around and started running for the corner of the end zone with his hands up, and the DB was following him. He thought the ball was coming too, and that guy probably would have been able to, at least have an attempt to tackle Justin Fields before the end zone if he hadn't done that. So that was outstanding. One other guy I'd like to mention, though, Pritchett had a pretty good game. He threw a block for one of the runs, one of the runners. I don't know if it was a quarterback or one of the receivers that got the ball, but he threw a good downfield block, and he showed some good moves on another play when he caught the ball in traffic, and
Yes, yes,
he didn't get a ton of yards out of it, but he
right.
made two guys miss. So I was very impressed with his little showing. Now Gibson, I guess, was out
Yeah, he
anyway.
was out. But I'll just say
So
this about Pritchard. I thought he got better. The first two
yeah.
punts, I didn't like the way he fielded, but you're right.
Well,
That
I
short
wonder if he was
pass,
going to be returning punts if Gibson was available. I wonder if that was why
They
he
probably
returned.
would have given them both a shot.
Yeah,
right.
I think. But so
Just
I
like,
thought that was good.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Ralph, any reaction from the
Yeah.
highlights you saw?
Well, I watched a lot of the film. The first drive, I watched every play in slow motion to watch the offensive line. It looked like an offensive line, a professional offensive line. It was interesting because Simpson was out, so they played Josh Myers at center and put Tippmann at guard.
They
And
got
I kind of had the feeling maybe that's our best offensive line. And I think Simpson is a free agent this year. I think that's what we're looking at next year because I thought all of five guys played well. They looked like pretty good communication, not bad for a first effort. Yeah, that's true. What was it, third and one or fourth and one that they got stuffed on.
one.
We'll never get through that.
Right.
One thing that that disturbed me a little though was I thought all the running backs looked okay except for Brees Hall.
Correct.
Brees Hall, there's something missing with his game. I don't know if it's a lack of acceleration, a lack of physicality, or both, but I think there's a real problem there because, rightfully so, he has earned the reputation to be their number one back, but I don't know if he is, and I don't know that I want to see them, drop one of those other runners to keep him there. I think they have a problem, and I thought we could discuss where do you think they're going to go with that,
Well,
especially
Ralph,
especially if Andrew
yeah,
Beck, if they're going to keep a fullback,
right.
which seems like they might.
Well, Ralph, before I spoke to Ray off the air, we started talking and we were talking about Donovan Edwards' run. And now I know who he was playing against, but I told Ray, to me, he looks much better hitting the hole between the tackles than Brees Hall. To me, it's not even close.
Yeah,
So we were talking about that too, and that is going to be an issue. I don't want to give up Davis. I don't want to. Braylon Edwards to me looks great.
Allen.
Braylon Allen
Yeah.
looked great. So I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, you're not
Donovan Edwards was a huge high school star, and he like Leonard Taylor should have been drafted like in the middle of the
Oh yeah.
rounds. I don't know what it was. Guys get a reputation, and things happen in the draft. But he's talented. I heard word that they thought he wasn't physical enough, but I thought on that last drive he showed some physicality. I know it was against third stringers. But he has too much potential. If they put him on the practice squad, he's going to get picked up by
he's going to
someone.
he's going to be picked up. So right now, let's just go through this. They have Brees Hall. They have Isaiah Davis. They have what's
Braylon
Brandon
Allen,
Allen. They have Donovan Edwards, and they have the fullback what's the fullback's name?
Andrew Beck. Yeah,
Andrew Beck. So that's five
they're
guys.
not going to. I don't think they're going to keep five. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's your take on the situation, Ray? And we all agree we don't think they're going to re-sign him after this year.
Well, unless they, think about making a preseason trade, I can't see him cutting him. So
Yeah.
I figure somebody's got to go. I hope, you know, we'll see how the rest of the preseason goes. But with what I saw from Beck in that game, I mean, that's somebody I really like. It's almost like you have a fullback, but you also have another tight end. He's kind of like that kind of guy in today's tight end world where they're receivers and as well as just they aren't just blockers anymore. And that's kind of what he is. He looks I thought he was the first when he caught that first pass. I didn't realize he was the fullback. I thought he was a tight end.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah. Um,
Um,
go ahead.
I they'll keep him, I think. But then who do they
maybe
cut?
not. Who knows? Maybe if it comes down to him and Edwards, and they look at Edwards,
Oh yeah, I
and
don't
it's
want him.
like, man, if I guess they still have a few more weeks to go. So I don't think we know the answer to this yet, and I don't think they do either. I think
Yeah, yeah,
there's these guys have more time to show what they can do,
yeah.
but the Brees Hall thing is very tricky.
Ralph, let me ask you this. Gun to your head, uh, Labor Day, who do you think has a better chance of sticking? Brees Hall or Jeremy Ruckert?
Well, I think Rucker is going to be around because we don't know about Mason Taylor's high sprain. Who knows how long it's going to be. The thing about Ruckert is I think we have to resign ourselves to the fact that he's just a blocking tight end. The ball just doesn't seem to find him.
Yeah.
Every year we're just waiting. And, I'm looking at Mason Taylor in preseason in these practices, and he's catching touchdowns left and right, and we never saw that from Ruckert at any point in practice or in games. And
Yeah.
but I think he's a proven blocker, and I think he's a second string tight end.
How about you, Ray? If who do you think has a better chance of sticking, Ruckert or Brees Hall?
I don't think there's any way they're cutting Brees, but I would say maybe that's an in for Beck as well. Is it make him kind of a
That's
tight
true, yeah.
tight end fullback where he can do both because he seems to have this. I don't know if he's a good blocker or not. I mean, he has the build. He
He
looks like,
must be if he's a fullback, you would
yeah,
think.
you would think he's a good blocker too. So that could be an option if they don't think that Ruckert will produce anything, as far as catches and add to the
Right.
offense.
And then there's this kid Stone Smart or whatever his name
I was
is.
going to
Yeah,
mention that he
Yeah,
scored a touchdown pass. He looked pretty good on
he
that play,
did look pretty good. Yeah,
but
he,
he's just a receiver. He's not
yeah, he
a
doesn't look like
blocker
a
at all.
blocker. Yeah,
Yeah.
was he
So
a free agent or did we draft him?
no, we didn't draft him. He's from San Diego. I
San
Oh,
think he
that's
Diego
was a free.
free
Yeah,
agent. Yeah. Um,
that's like
yeah. The other thing is too, and I brought up. By the way, Ralph had mentioned Dean Clark. I think he had a horrible game from what I saw. Number
yeah. He
5.
missed the tackle on the long touchdown run. Guy
Yeah.
ran right through him.
Yeah. But the thing is too, there's a guy they have on the team who I was fascinated with, and actually Adrian Martinez threw a nice high pass to him because number two receiver, I don't care what they tell us,
It's up. Yeah,
it's a huge problem.
it is a problem.
If it
I
was up to me,
agree.
I would
Yeah.
sign Amari Cooper or one of the other guys tomorrow. But this guy Quentin Skinner, who's 6'4", who's an undrafted free agent, to me he's an interesting guy.
Hmm.
I think he has some speed, but I was looking at his college stats, and I think we reviewed this before, but he averaged very close to 20 yards of reception there. So that's an interesting guy.
Yeah, I agree. He's thin, but he seems, like in college, he seemed to make plays all the time.
I mean, I'm
Uh,
not huge on Tyler Johnson. You listen to the sideline reporters and stuff and all this, and they're selling. It seems like the Jets are telling them what to push. I don't know. How do you
yeah, I
feel
know.
about?
He's a depth guy to me. I agree with you. I think they're pumping him up. Yeah, I that it's up in the air. Aaron Smith had a couple of catches.
He was good, and not only
Yeah,
that, his
right.
best play, and Adrian Smith, Martinez's
Adrian,
best play.
yeah,
We actually missed them long in the end zone. They just missed. It was a
yeah.
great pass by him, and it was a great play. Ray, what's your thoughts? I know we spoke about this last time on the number two receiver right now.
well, I think it's up for grabs. And didn't Lazard get hurt, his shoulder or something?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
He,
that that
he,
moves, him back a little bit too. So I don't know how severe it was, but I thought a couple of the guys looked good though. That might step up. But they've still got to be in the market to see who might be out there. There's an interesting guy. We don't need to talk about it now, right at this point, but we can maybe bring it up a little later. And there's somebody who's a free agent who I know Marty you wouldn't like, but he's
Go
a
ahead.
possibility.
Who's that?
Traylon Burks. He was
Oh
Oh
God.
by
God.
the Titans. He's had injury problems. He was an
He
18 overall pick, and
uh,
he's talent. I saw him at
Yeah,
Arkansas.
I think that capital being a first round pick for him has been
You know,
evaporated by now. He's
y-
Yeah,
y-
but I mean, you could probably get him cheap. I mean, I wouldn't mind bringing him in and see what he could
bringing
do.
for
That's
yeah.
what I'm
I guess that would be fine, but I wouldn't have hold up much hope for that guy.
saying.
yeah,
Aaron is injured.
we already have like a number one first round pick being recirculated. This linebacker, Jamin Davis. He was he and he didn't it wasn't awful, but we're his third team. I think he was a first round pick. I forgot who picked him,
Was
but
it the Lions who picked
could have
him?
been. Yeah, it might have
Yeah.
been like, and then he ended up in Minnesota.
So he might be the only, is he the only player on the roster who actually played for Aaron Glenn? I'm trying to think. Are there other Detroit players?
I don't know, and it's funny you bring that up, Ralph, because I really thought that we were going to see a slew of
Yeah,
free
yeah.
agents from Detroit follow him, which seems to happen when a guy gets a head coaching job from another organization. So I thought that was kind of interesting too. Ray, I wanted to ask you, the second string quarterback, I guess it's Brady Cook.
Brady Cook,
Yeah.
yeah.
What do you think? I mean, he made some awful plays, but what was your opinion of him?
I thought he did pretty well, actually. His passes were pretty sharp, pretty crisp, but you know, let's just see how it works out. I didn't think he was horrible by any means. I mean, he
Considering it's
wasn't,
his first moment as a
yeah,
professional, yeah. Whereas
I thought,
your guy Martinez has played in arena
yeah,
football and he played last year and he's looked solid. But I
yeah.
think that's a fight right now. I think that's going to be an interesting competition.
Ralph,
But
my
Cliff said
thing,
he's a better passer.
he played in the UFL.
The
So,
UFL.
so okay, and he was MVP. So let's get
Hey, look,
MVP.
I like Martinez too,
I do
Marty.
too.
I want to bring them all on. Let's have a
I
60-man
know.
roster.
Yeah, I know. Now, on defense, Ray, was there anyone that stood out to you? And I mentioned
Good belly.
Tefeli, yeah, but that actually on that touchdown, if you saw it,
Oh, yeah, that was Leonard
That was
Taylor.
all
that was
Leonard Taylor's
all
play. It
Leonard
was
Taylor.
totally.
Yeah,
Tuafeli just had to drop on it, but he had a
Yeah,
couple
really.
other good plays.
Yeah.
Tuafeli had a good game.
right.
Um, I'm
Yeah.
trying to think if anybody else really stood out to me, but I can't. I mean, they played solid, but I didn't see anybody in particular that was.
No, he had one bad play, but I do something about this. Who's that safety we picked up? Uh,
Cisco.
Cisco. I like that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a
He,
ball hawk.
yeah, he seems to be active on the first series. Ralph Sauce Gardner made like 2 to 3 plays, and after that they got him for holding.
Well, okay. So yeah, I mean we're small steps, small steps. But I heard he made a couple of tackles,
He
right?
did. One he
Yeah.
tackled above the belt, but the other one he was pretty good. He looked better than he looked last year too, which was good. Ray, I want to ask you on that Donovan Edwards run, did you think that was holding or was it a ticky-tacky call?
I thought it was a pretty. I won't say it was a cheap call, but I don't think it was. I wonder if that would have been. It would have been a call they would have made during the regular season. I don't know. It seemed a little ticky tack to me.
Was it around the play or was it on the other side of the field?
No, it was the
Yeah.
Edwards went right over his left shoulder.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and that's probably why. I think
yeah.
if he were right next to him, it probably wouldn't have been called. But
But Ray, don't you think in preseason they are very liberal in throwing the flags, trying to set up for the regular season? They're trying to like kind of teach them a lesson,
well,
get them in line.
Yeah.
yeah, I think they do. But I think a lot of that is when it's a new rule that's kind of different that they got to get used to. They flag that a lot. Like when they trying to think of one of the rules that came in was probably the when you couldn't touch the quarterback at all and things like that, they'd start throwing it. And of course, in the regular season, it seemed like they kept going. But anytime it's a new rule that might be a tough adjustment, I think they throw it a lot in the preseason.
Right. Now, Ralph, there was a guy, I don't know if you know anything about him. He was playing against the third string, but he looked a little active. He was a defensive lineman called Tyler Barron.
Yeah, from Miami. He was like
Yeah.
about a sixth or seventh round pick. Yeah, he's an interesting player.
Yeah.
I mean, they got a lot, they got a log jam of average defensive ends. They picked up Weaver. They still have Clemens, who's wasting a spot on the roster. But I hope Aaron sticks because I kind of liked him in college. I want to just
You
say what
Michael?
Miami.
Is he related to Michael Barron?
I
I
don't
don't know.
know. I don't think so.
I don't know. He's related to Barron Trump.
Yeah, I was gonna say, or
Okay.
my grandfather Joseph A. Barron. I
Go
Wish
mean,
we
ahead.
had Barron Trump.
about Leonard Taylor. Marty, you said earlier you had a prediction. You thought that he was going to be an important player next to playing, and you know, every game this guy played last year and this year, he just makes plays every game. This guy needs to get a lot of reps, and I'm with you, Marty. I think he should be starting. Maybe you want to run stuff or on first down, but to me, he not only made the play that Toffoli scored on the other one when Toffoli sacked the guy. He was right there with Braden McGregor. He should have probably got a quarter of a sack there too. He's a player, that guy. He's very talented. Again, he had an unfortunate final year in school. He got a bad rap, but this guy needs to be developed.
Yeah, Ralph, I want to bring out you just brought out a great point. One of the things these coaches really, they have to be more flexible, and our Robert Saleh was not. He loved rotations. You have to know certain players play better the longer they're in there as the game goes on. And they, of course, yes, do they need a blow once in a while, but there are some players, and Ralph, you hit it right on the head with this Leonard Taylor. You got to keep him in there. Let's see what he has. If he runs out of gas, let's learn from that, though. But he's the type of player, I believe he does get better the more he plays, and you got to keep this guy in there. You really do. I just want to bring out too that though he had a penalty, and again, I don't know if they would have called it during the regular season. Will McDonald put on one of his
Spin
patented
moves, yeah.
spin moves that one of the guys, I don't know if it was Tufelo, got a sack. One of the other guys got a sack, and it was just phenomenal. And while we're on that
It looked like
position,
he got grabbed a little bit on it too, just a
oh,
little.
Ralph, that goes
Uh,
without saying.
well, I think that's Aaron Glenn's big job this year is to plant the seed in these refs to
Yeah.
keep an eye on that because it just happens all the time.
Right. And it's amazing because I think he's going to have a very good season. Now, Ralph, I know you picked him. I just want to mention, I know it's nothing to do with the Jets, but I saw Ray, this guy Baldinger that evaluates
Yeah.
players?
Brian
Yeah.
Brian
Baldinger,
Baldinger,
yeah.
who's good. Yeah. But he did something. He was only in 6 plays. On the New York Giants, this defensive lineman, Abdul Carter. Oh my God. He was unbelievable what he was doing. It was
Yeah.
just phenomenal. So it's a
Well,
shame.
we'll get a big look at him this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see him 10 plays maybe.
Well, but in the practice, they'll probably see him more. Don't forget they're
Right.
having they're having practice
That's right,
scrimmage.
during the
Yeah.
week, which to
Yeah.
me sometimes it's good, but they got to limit it. There's always fights and everything. They
Yeah, I
just
know.
cut it short. You know, how about our rookie, our number one pick, Mambo? Any
Yeah,
thoughts on him?
I watched those plays about 4 times. He was solid. Mainly on pass defense. No, he actually, yeah, he was. I was very pleased with him, and I thought Olu played solidly too. The offensive line just looked like it looked like it had some continuity, which is something you don't really say much very often about the Jets.
Right, Ray. Your thoughts on our rookie, on offensive line in general?
Yeah, well, I like the offensive line in general. I think we may end up leaving Tipman at guard here at some point. I think that is probably his better position personally from the way he played there. He just looked like he was natural at it.
Yeah,
Right.
So I mean, I like well, I didn't hear anything about Membu, so I wasn't able to kind of necessarily focus in on him, but I didn't see him getting beat, that's for sure. And
Yeah.
so,
We-
that's a plus. This week the defensive line is probably a little bit better, so it'll be a better
oh,
indicator.
oh yeah, they're a lot better. Yeah.
yeah.
Go ahead. I just want to take a break and I'm going to give you guys a trivia question. Nothing to do with the Jets, but I saw it and I liked it. Frank Robinson, great baseball player, went to McLemoyne High School in Oakland, California. Now he also played in the basketball team.
Bill Russell.
Ralph's right. You got it. You knew that. Ralph,
Be on
this
that.
this is like Mount Vernon West. Did you see some of the players that came out of that school?
No, I didn't.
Listen to this, Ray. You're
I,
gonna love this. This is McLemond High School in Oakland, California. It's Frank Robinson, Bill Russell, Paul Silas, Wendell Hayes, Marcus Peters. Ralph, you're gonna like the next one. Jim Hines,
all right.
Veda Pinson,
Oh my God.
Kurt Flood, and Lee Lacy. Now that's
Wow.
that's
Wow.
a that talk about a
I'd
machine.
like to see Veda Pinson and Jim Hines have a race from home to first base. I think Pinson would beat him.
He might have beat him. You're right.
Yeah.
You might have
Was
beat him.
Hines the Olympic guy?
Yeah.
Hines was, and
68.
he
Yeah.
was on the Kansas City Chiefs for a
Yeah.
coffee, and he dropped a
Yes.
long pass. I'll never forget that. I was hoping he would catch it because I liked watching him in the Olympics. All right. Anything else on the game before we start to close this down? Our first preseason game. I can't believe it's here already. It's unbelievable. Before you know it, guys, I'll be out raking the lawn for leaves and everything.
Yeah, I would say, like when you asked me about the defense, I said nothing really jumped out at me. But I will say we got a lot of good pressure on the quarterback, which I liked. I mean, that as a whole, as a unit, I thought they did really well on the line or on our edge rushers getting in there and getting pressure on, especially when it was Jordan Love in there. I thought they did a good job.
Yeah, Ray, did you think that Green Bay they dropped a lot of passes during the game? I think there were like two or three, if I remember right.
That's good for the Jets, two or three.
Yeah.
That's
Well, I'm used
maybe
to
not
us dropping so many that it probably didn't seem like that much,
right.
but
We'll see. If we could fill that number two wide receiver, I like the depth. Some of the guys we mentioned, I really do. I don't know if Lazard's going to stick. I know his money's guaranteed. And just to give him credit, on one of the good runs, I think by Braylon Allen, he threw a very nice block. So he is a good block when he wants to be. So anything else, Ralph? You going to say something?
Yeah, in general, talking about, I know you don't want to get too crazy about one preseason game, but I'm always nervous. The Jets, since Parcells, other than Gase, every one of their new coaches was a rookie coach. And I always feel like I want to see them play a game and see if this team is, functioning like a football team. You never know. Some of these coaches might be it might look like the Keystone Cops. And I thought they did look like a real football team yesterday. And
Right,
the other thing I'll say is when Parcells took over the Jets after the debacle of Rich Kotite for 2 years, he said, "I want to win preseason games. I want to change the culture of this team. They won all four, and I feel like the Jets need to do that now too." And
right,
Aaron Glenn, I mean, I'm not going to bash. It's not going to be a Robert Saleh bashing because God knows we need nice people in this world, and he clearly is a very nice person, but it doesn't make for a good football coach and players were way too comfortable with him, and they're
yeah.
not going to be with Glenn. Glenn turned my head in a couple of press conferences a couple of weeks ago when he started getting really edgy with the reporters, and I thought that's a good sign. Like if he's going to do that with them, he's probably that way with the players, and you could see it on the sidelines. So, like I said, we're not going to get too high, but. And the other thing is he's not running away from injuries. He said, I'm going to play my guys. We're going to hit in practice. And Salah always ran away from that stuff. And
Yep.
that's and
And
Ray.
that's when they hurt us in the season.
And what did we always say? They were never ready to play a game at the beginning of a game. It took them a quarter to get into every game, and it used to drive us crazy. And I
Yeah.
think that had a lot to do with it.
right. Ray, I
Hey,
know it's too early to tell, and a lot of our coaches are very young. But do you think there's going to be a big difference from the coaching staff, from Aaron Glenn's staff to Robert Sala's as far as teaching the game? That's what I keep hearing during the week. The players are learning. What's your take on
well, I think you have to be that way anytime it's a whole new system and it's a whole new staff. And so to a point, that's automatic. You got kids who are just coming in the league and everything. But I think he's put together guys who I think will be good teachers. And I mean, I know Wilkes is a tough coach. You've heard that about him, and he's tough on him. But I don't think he's overboard with it. At least he doesn't seem to be at this point. He seems to be, being the kind of coach who's, pushing the guys, but I don't think he's pushing them to a point where they're just like, tuning them out or anything like that. The
My
other
only
thing,
my only thing
quick,
with Wilkes is I don't know why he keeps bouncing around if he's so good. That's my only no, really.
That's haunting you, Marty. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't.
You know what? We'll find out by mid-season.
Well, no, yeah. I mean, listen, I'm trying to sorry to cast aspersions on him, guy. I want him to be a great coach, but he's been around and I never understood why, I guess, was it the 49ers got rid of him? And I don't know why they
Well,
did.
yeah, and they went backwards after that. They had a worse season.
That's true. Good point, Ralph.
They were a few minutes from winning the Super Bowl with him, and it was probably an overreaction. I think they probably regretted getting rid of him.
I
Yeah,
think he's
well,
had good results anywhere he's been, really. I mean, it might be his personality that gets him, but I like a coach who's tough on, as long as he's not a total tyrant with it. But one quick thing on what Ralph said about Parcells. Did either of you hear the post-game press conference from Aaron?
no.
Yeah, I did.
The first thing he said was basically what you said about Parcells. We won the game. That's a key. It's important. We want to
Uh-huh.
set culture. And I was like, there's your Parcells protege right there. He follows what Parcells tells him.
Yeah, he was on that team then, so he knows.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
And was it Ralph? Wasn't Belichick the same way with preseason games?
I don't think quite as much, because when Belichick, his team had gotten so good that he didn't need to change the culture.
Yeah.
But you know, the the other amazing thing about that was, after 2 horrible years of Rich Kotite, so they won the 4 preseason games, and then to me, one of the most shocking games in the history of the franchise. They open the season after a 1-15 year. They go out to Seattle and they win, I think, 40-3. That just blew me away. And this is a guy who knows what he's doing as a coach,
Yeah.
clearly.
Right. That's right. Absolutely right. All right. So busy week coming up. I'll be going away. Ralph, how was Maine? You were up there?
It was beautiful, perfect weather. I was jogging all around the edge of Acadia, right on the
Oh, that's
coast. It was really nice. Yeah.
that's beautiful. Very good. All right. So we're gonna go ahead, Ray. What are you gonna
Well,
say?
I just said nice, but
Yeah.
that
Yeah. Okay. There you go. Ray, every once in a while your cat will poke his head in there. So and
are
by the
you
way,
done yet so I can
yeah,
eat?
by the way, our right now everything is geared towards our YouTube channel. So it's Schupak Sports, or if you go to Jets Rewind on any platform, Google Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere. And pretty soon, I'm told that President Trump is going to have an antenna up in Mars. You're going to be able to hear us. So that's coming too. So for Ray Clifford, who's out in Ohio, Ralph Sharega, who's at the foot of the Tom Brady statue up in New England. He's holding a Old Testament, New Testament, and Quran.
And a blowtorch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's been there for like 48 hours. He just can't believe how good it is. For
Did
Marty,
you did
go
you
ahead.
hear Brady's dig at the
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
heard it. I heard. I don't even give him credit. Pretty soon, somebody should say something like, how many legitimate and illegitimate kids do you have out there, Tom? Throw something
He
back at
owes
him.
his whole damn career to the Jets, for
Yeah,
God's sakes.
he's like untouchable. It's unbelievable.
uh,
What a glorified life that guy has left. All right, guys. So for all of us at Jets Rewind, until next time.